Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is two people have unfortunately died after and been injured at last weekend's Notting Hill Festival, Carnival, whatever we want to call it. And the Metropolitan Police have put out two statements almost back to back, one at 2:05 and one at 2:06. The first one deals with the man who passed away. Further appeal for witnesses following the death of a man found unconscious in Queensway. This is a Swedish chef who works from Dubai who was found in an alley unconscious, and when his incident was reported, there was no suggestion as to what happened. But yesterday, news came out that he was stabbed and he has succumbed to head injuries, which were reported yesterday. So the police statement on this: a man who was attacked in the vicinity of Notting Hill Carnival has died from his injuries. Mussie Imnetu, who was 41 and visiting the UK from Dubai where he lived and worked, was found unconscious with a head injury in Queensway W2 at 23:22 hours on Monday, the 26th of August. Officers provided emergency first aid until paramedics arrived. Mussie was taken to a West London hospital where, despite the best efforts of medical staff, he sadly died on Friday, the 30th of August. This was yesterday. On Thursday, Omar Wilson, 31, of Napier Road, Leytonstone, was charged with causing grievous bodily harm with intent. He appeared in Westminster Magistrates Court on Friday, the 30th of August, where he was remanded in custody to appear in Southwark Crown Court on the 27th of September. In light of Mussie's death, the offence will be reviewed in conjunction with the Crown Prosecution Service. Detective Chief Inspector Brian Howie, leading the investigation from the Met's Homicide Command, said Mussie's family, friends and colleagues in London, Dubai, Sweden and Eritrea are inconsolable after receiving the worst news imaginable. Our thoughts are with them and they are being supported by specialist officers. Our investigation is well advanced, but we are still very keen to hear from anyone who can help piece together Mussie's movements between 1 p.m. when we knew he left the Arts Club in Dover Street, W1, and when he arrived in Dr. Power Restaurant in Queensway at 22:30 p.m. If you visited the restaurant between 10 o'clock and 11:30 on Monday night, or were in the area and saw something, regardless of the reason you were here, please get in touch. Our focus is on what happened to Mussie. Did you speak to him at the restaurant, or do you have any images or videos between these times that could assist the investigation? The attack happened around 23:20. Customers at the venue tried to help stop the attack. We need to speak with those people, and I urge them to contact us. Officers will be outside the restaurant and in the surrounding area from 9 on Monday to hand out appeal leaflets and speak with local people 1 week after the murder. Anyone with information should call police on 101. So that was the first one, and that was a horrific story that was building through the week. It wasn't announced immediately about this problem. It was probably middle of the week before we knew about it, and then we found out yesterday it was yet another knife crime, and unfortunately this man has succumbed to his injuries, which is bloody horrific. But followed 1 minute later, update again by the Met Office Police website. Death of woman stabbed at Notting Hill Carnival. A woman who was stabbed at Notting Hill Carnival has sadly died. Shortly before 6 on Sunday, the 25th of August, officers deployed in Goulburn Road as part of the Carnival policing operation became aware of a woman who had been stabbed. The officers gave emergency and medical treatment until the arrival of paramedics. The woman, who was later identified as 32-year-old Cher Maximen, was transported to hospital in critical condition. Despite the best efforts of medical staff, Cher died in the morning of Saturday, 31st of August. That's just this morning. Recognising the seriousness of her injuries, detectives from the Met Specialist Crime Command took on investigation in the hours after Cher was stabbed. On Tuesday morning, they arrested Shaquille Thibio of Masborough Road, W12. He was charged with attempted murder and appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court on Wednesday morning. He was remanded in custody to appear in the Old Bailey on Wednesday, the 25th of September. In light of Cher's death, the offence will be reviewed in conjunction with the Crown Prosecution Service. Detective Chief Inspector Alex Gamanpila of the Met's Homicide Command, who leads the investigation, said, "My thoughts are with Cher's loved ones as they come to terms with this terrible loss. They are being supported by specialist officers and will make sure that support continues. Cher was at the carnival with her young child. We've been in close contact with our local authority partners and Cher's family since soon after the incident to make sure the child was safe and looked after." Commander Charmaine Brenier, the Met spokesperson for the carnival, said, "The news of Cher's tragic death is devastating for her family and the wider community and all those involved in delivering the Notting Hill Carnival. Carnival is about bringing people together in a positive celebration. That it has ended with the tragic loss of life among other incidents of serious violence will sadden everyone involved." And condolences to all the families and friends of these two relatively young people, both 10 and 20 years younger than me, who, particularly the woman who's went to the carnival with her child, and from previous reports suggesting that she was stabbed and attacked with a knife in front of her child, and the thoughts are certainly with such a young person who must have seen some horrific things in front of them. But again, it's just ridiculous that that's another 2 lives lost to knife crime. And we're now, a month after the murder of 3 lovely wee girls in the streets of Southport, going to a summer camp. And still, despite armed battles with machetes in the streets of Southend, despite numerous stabbings that have been recorded, despite one in my own doorstep where a man lost his arm with a machete and his friend ended up in hospital as well, unresolved. Guy in Aberdeen hanging out a window waving a machete at bystanders and police alike. And numerous incidents. A wee girl killed by her mother, a 13-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl murdered with a knife point in the last no time at all. It goes on, it goes on, it goes on. And yet we still have not heard one word about knife crime from the leader of the United Kingdom government. And I'm going to tell you again, the United Kingdom is currently going through an amnesty for long 8-inch plus knives, zombie knives and machetes. Because after the 29-day amnesty that's almost a week old, it will be illegal to own, make, sell any of these knives. But our government aren't telling you. Our media isn't telling you. I'm telling you every time I report my knife crime. Our media seem unaware of it. And our government remains silent. It's shocking. And people do have this concern. But our leaders and even our opposition parties and Nigel Farage have told us we can't protest. And if you do protest, you'll be called a right-wing fascist racist with a Nazi saluting swastika tattoos. That's how our government describe people that protest. And I've had enough. I'm going to seriously consider what I can do to try and help this situation. And just, if highlighting it numerous times in a week helps, then great. Just bring awareness to a public that tend not to be told about too many of these knife murders and knife crimes. It's ridiculous. It's shocking. And in 2024, we eventually bring out a law of making an 8-inch knife, a zombie knife, or a machete illegal. Can you believe that? It's took us to 2024 to figure out these things aren't really needed in society. And although we now have the legislation in place just now and currently coming into effect, nobody's bothered talking about it. So this woman Cher, that man Mussie, didn't need to happen. This didn't need to happen. We've got a carnival in an area that cannot be policed. I just heard the radio interview of GB News. I didn't get the man's name, but he was a retired police officer saying it's an uncontrollable event because of the scale of it, because it's in normal streets. People have suggested it should be in Hyde Park and all these things, and Honestly, get a year to cover that and work that out. But in that year, I guarantee you one thing: these will not be the last murders we hear at knife point in Britain, because it's getting absolutely ridiculous. If this video is worthwhile, you want it shared and other people to see it, please hit the like button, leave your comments in the comments below, and if you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notifications bell. But the most important thing of all, unless you're these people who think it's okay to be wandering about our streets with knives, and unless you're these people in our government who find it not worthwhile telling people about the new legislation that's currently coming into effect, to everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.